I think I'm on the right track with the sweeping you off your feet kind of thing. So that worked out good. I did my Hoi Chi, and I did, like I say, a little bit on Sunday morning and early Sunday afternoon. And the people that I did that on, I told them, I charge twice as much as a doctor does. And they said, well, we can get you lined up at least for the next 2 or 3 days. We can have work for you every day for the next 2 or 3 days. So I told them thank you, but that's not what I was there for. I didn't charge them for my work. Even the white folk, I did 2 white folk, and no charge. I did her friends and families, the Chinamen, no charge. And I wasn't there for the money. That's the one bad thing about me. My wife always said I got a one-track mind. I just stay focused, and that's what I do. And I went up there for her, and so that's what it was. I wasn't looking to make money. But even at that time, I knew it was over, and I thought, I could make at least $1,000 a day for the next 2 or 3 days. But I didn't. So I talked about greed. That's a good example. Money isn't motivating me to do this stuff. I talked to him here before I left. I let him know I had to see this gal, but I had my obligations here. And so then they said it's okay. I'm not going to be gone that long anyway. So that's why I went. And so even I could have made money. It would have kept me there a day or 2 or 3 more days longer. I could have made money. The money wasn't the thing. My obligation, my word, meant more than the money. So I know I'm not motivated by greed. And matter of fact, it wasn't even a consideration. Like I said, I knew I was leaving, and so I didn't have time to help anybody or anything like that. I didn't even tell them I'd stop by when I come back or not. I didn't even tell them that. Because like I said, I don't know. I had one focus, and I stayed on that. So I did that. Okay, when I talk to people, I use my people skills all the time. I made videos on serving others. Be a servant to others. And when you're a servant to others, this is really what makes life worth living. And so if I can't do my work to please you, the other way is I talk and I try to entertain people. And like I was talking about, sitting at the bus, waiting for the bus, I was talking to people, and then as we were talking, I found out there's other buses going to Houston, and I find out all kinds of stuff when I'm being nice and talking to people. The same thing, I was talking to the taxi cab driver. I don't treat him like some kind of servant and this, here, serve me, this, that. No. I'm open and honest to everybody. Why not? So it doesn't cost anything. Matter of fact, it saved me money. And even more important, it kept me safer by talking to him. When I told him what I was going to do, and then that's when he says, well, you don't want to walk down there, just take a bus. So by talking to the taxi cab driver, that's where you find out this stuff. A lot of times when I was taking my trips through Central America, and even some of the big cities in the United States, when I would get in, this GPS thing is kind of new to me. I've had that since my wife had her last stroke. That's when I got the GPS. Before that, I just stumbled around, and I used people skills. I communicated, I smiled and talked to people. And then sometimes I would even hire a cab to get me I'd go into town, I'd get lost in town, I'm looking for a certain road to get out, and then I'd pay a cab so I could follow the cab, and he'd take me to the road that I need to get on so I could find my way out. So, in other words, I do use people skills. And when you don't have these people skills, learn them. Talk to people. Learn how to be nice. Learn how to be courteous. You should be already. Especially if you're a man, what do you got to be scared of? There's no reason to be scared. Act like a man. Talk to these people. And I talked about your word and even your unspoken word. And this is what I'm talking about. I can talk to somebody, man or woman, and if something funny happens, I could stand up between them and whatever the funny stuff is. That's my unspoken word. They know I didn't stand there for no reason at all. There was a good reason why I stood there like that. So that's my unspoken word. And even your unspoken word, you make a lot of friends. I saw they had this elderly lady that was getting ready to walk down the ramp, and I saw her walking over. I didn't know where they were going, and when she was turning, going to that ramp, then I jumped up, ran over there, and then she was with a younger lady, but I could see them both sliding down that ramp, so I went over there and helped them. So, and that's another thing of the unspoken word. It's another thing being a gentleman. It's another thing manning up. They didn't have to ask me. I could see that the lady needed some help. People don't have to ask you. You know what the right thing is, and you do it. And people respect you for it. And the more you do it, the more you get used to it, the easier it becomes. Okay. Now, let me see. On the bus, I say it was at the end of the drive, I tip with the shiny coin. The bus driver. You supposed to tip them? I don't know. How much are you supposed to tip them? Well, I don't think you're supposed to tip them. Nobody gives them a tip. So I didn't want to give them not enough money. So I thought, well, I'll give them something big and shiny. Everybody likes that. And matter of fact, I did that to the girl I went to visit and all of her friends. So it doesn't hurt to show compassion towards others. That's not going to make you look less of a man. At first, you might feel foolish because you don't know how to do it. That's why I say get in the habit of being nice, and then it gets a lot easier. A lot easier. Okay. On the bus, same thing. They had a 20-year-old was sitting next to me coming back, and he was cold. I had my shema, that scarf thing. I gave him that, and I had a long sleeve shirt with me. He didn't. He just had a t-shirt. And on the bus, I had the air conditioning, so it was a little cool. So I gave him that so he could stay a little warm. So, and then same thing, 20-year-old Mexican guy, didn't speak English. I went on and he kind of, it was funny, we were communicating. He's trying to explain to me what's going on and what the driver's talking about, and how long we're going to be here. And he's the one who told me there's some food over there, we eat over there. And so I paid for everything for him. I mean, it doesn't cost much. It's just money. I can get more. And, what I'm saying is, back to the people skills. You have to learn to talk to people. And you're going to make mistakes. You don't want to give too much money. You don't want to be too generous, and you don't want to, because then you start acting. When you get too generous, it looks like you're being uppity, and you don't want to be like that. So that's why you need to practice the stuff I talk about. You're going to feel uncomfortable at first, but it doesn't matter. Just do it anyway. Okay. When I got to the border, coming down here, and I told you there was 8 of them, and boy, they were just swamping around me. Every place I go, trying to get stuff done, they were going around me, and I already knew what I wanted to do. I didn't need their help, and they kept, here, let me do it, like that. No, here I got it. And then I knew there'd be a point where they're going to be wanting some money, and so that's why. And like I said, I do this all the time, and it seems like the more they help me, the more problems I have. And so I haven't figured out yet how to keep them away from me. I told them I don't want my help. Stay away. I don't want it, but they still kept around. So, and like I say, no matter how scary a situation is, not at night. I'm not talking about nighttime stuff. Nighttime stuff is a little different because there's nobody around. But in the daytime, there's people around. My experience has been, you look around in the daytime, everyone you see is good people. They all hate thieves. They all hate crooks. They all do. Now, but there's always a rotten apple somewhere. Like I say, so I leave my stuff on the bus. There'd be 2 or 3 people still sitting on the bus. They will watch the stuff. They do. They will not. People are really nice people. They really are. But you have to use your sense. You keep your valuables on you in a small bag where you carry your bag around with you. Or in my case, I had it on the bottom of my bag. So to get to my little bag, you had to go to the bottom of my bag. And so, don't be scared of people. Now, of those 8 that come around there, like I say, the one, and I looked him in the eye and I pointed my finger at him and I told him, last time, he could speak a little English, enough that he knew what I was talking about. Last time I was here, he treated me like a gringo. And he made lots of money off of me. So forget it. And boy, right there, his little eyes turned away from me. He knew he screwed me over. And he just didn't realize that I'm going to be back. It's hard to believe the gringo lives here. So that's why they take advantage of me, because they don't think they're going to see me again. But he saw me again. And I made sure he knew that I know that he screwed me. And I'm not going to let that crap happen again. And so we're talking about morals. I morally shunned that guy down. He knew he was morally wrong, but at the time he saw gringo, greedy. And I made it a point to make sure he knew that he already had his feeding off of me and he wasn't going to get any more, not another mouthful off of me. So that ended him. Leaving 7. Now the other 7 I didn't know. And the biggest one of the bunch, he was the one that was really getting real mouthy. Now, I don't know if he's the leader of the pack or the rest. It's always when they're in a group, they feel more strength. I told you about going against the odds. This is a good example. I knew when I got down to the nitty-gritty, I already got rid of the one. He didn't want no part of me. I shamed him out of the whole situation. And leaving 7. And out of that 7, I doubt if there'd be 2 that are willing to bleed for money, or the chance of money. I'll put it that way. And so the reason I waited is a lot of times the big guy isn't the leader. The big guy is the muscle that they bring in afterwards. So I was waiting for the big guy to get out of the way so I could find out who the leader was. And then once I find out who the leader, well, then I know my first 2 targets. The leader and the big guy. So that's why I was stalling to find out which ones I want to get first. And I say, if you do a good enough job when you start off, the others don't want any part of it. They don't want it, like I say, they're not going to bleed. Their greed has a limit. And so they were all chanting, not at the same time, at all different times. Everybody was wanting money, a little bit, money, pesos, come on, pesos. And, we help you, and, all kinds of crap, And then we just played on. And then I figured out that the big guy is the number 1 guy. And so I thought, oh, okay, no problem. And like I say, I had my door open. I opened the door. I got in the car. And the big guy got in the door where my door wouldn't close. And everybody else is all around the door here. And already, I was thinking, I got to get out of the car. So now he's going to have the advantage on me standing up. I'm sitting in the car. So what I did is I reached in my pocket. He didn't know it, but I reached in my pocket. He saw me reach in my pocket. And because he's talking for money, and I'm reaching in my pocket, and I can't get it, so I'm stepping out. And as I'm stepping out, he steps back. When he steps back, everybody steps back. Well, my left hand was coming out with my money, and my glasses went off. And I reached in for my money, but it wasn't my money that I was reaching for. And I didn't get it out. I didn't need to take it out because I stepped out, he stepped back, and then I gave him my shit look, and I told him, I said, no. That was it. There was no more. So, and then everybody went quiet. And then the big guy started laughing, And then everybody else started laughing. They were just teasing me. I was teasing them. Who was teasing who? In other words, you always have a plan. A workable plan. Be ready to stand by your plan. Have faith in your plan. I've said, take some martial arts classes. You don't need to be an expert. All you need is 2 or 3 moves that work 100% of the time. And you can do those 2 or 3 moves, and you know it's going to work. You have faith in your abilities. You have faith in your plan. You're ready to move on. There's nothing to be scared of. Now, if this was at night, they wouldn't have got that close to me. And I would have handled it a whole lot different. Maybe one of these days, I'll get a nighttime event that I can share with you. But nothing lately. I guess I'm a little smarter now. Don't get out in the dark in dangerous situations. But I think I covered everything. Some of the things I learned, some of the things I applied that I already knew about. I hope it helped you. You need to do something for your plans. Work on your plans. Get workable plans and have faith in your plans. Then you can do anything you want. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.